Well, hello there.
Hey.
Hi. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that person over there isn't Ken. Or Colton.
I'm not. Oh, God. Who the hell am I?
Well, let's get into this, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Robert Slavinsky, and with me today is one of the wildest men on the internet, Mr. John Horsley. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, for those of you who don't know who John is, he's been on the show from time to time, but he is one of the hosts and creators and all-around awesome dudes from Spoiler Country and the Spoilerverse network. And that's his dog in the background, if you can hear it.
My dog is freaking out. I apologize now. He wants to come in the office with me and hang out. And I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah. My dog does the same thing. And when I let her in, she's perfectly fine. But then after about 25 minutes, she starts barking because she doesn't want to be in here anymore. So dogs, what can you do?
Yeah, she's the same way. He's the same way. He'll come in and they'll play at my feet and like wrestle. And then they'll go back out and like, you want to be out anyways. You just want the damn door open.
Freaking animals. I mean, right. You love animals, but sometimes it's a love-hate relationship with animals.
It really is. But on the plus side, they did fine for July 4th last night. They didn't freak out too bad.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. All right, so let's get moving because we do have a good bit to talk about today on the show. For those of you who are new or don't know, this is kind of how the show works. The first 15, 20 minutes or so, we talk about some newsworthy topics. We do some reviews, reactions, all that kind of stuff. And then after that, the final half or so of the show consists of our main topic, which this week is going to be talking about Darth Vader. Darth Vader was a big part of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show that just came out, and a lot of people are calling for a spin-off of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this week, we're going to talk about Darth Vader and if a spin-off is necessary and if it could work. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. If you happen to be watching live, which we encourage everyone to do, make sure you leave a little comment and get in on the discussion with us here because it makes the show a lot more fun. It really does.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
All right. So a couple really quick hits. I want to congratulate you, John, and Spoiler Country on 5 years. And not only that, but you're like a nut hair away from 900 episodes.
Yeah, 860 episodes so far. So we'll hit 900 here in a few months, and it's crazy because if you'd asked me 5 years ago if we'd have 900 episodes in 5 years, I would have said, no, you're crazy. That's not going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. Like we were just talking about it before the show started. My show is technically 6 years old, but I'm saying 5 years old because I lost a bunch of episodes that we made before that. But we're also 5 years old, roughly. And I think total episode wise, when it comes to between YouTube and podcasts, I think we're only looking at like 268 or 300 or something like that, close to 300. So it is incredible that you've been able to get over 800 episodes in 5 years and put out as much content and high quality content as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we try. It comes to the fact that Kendrick and I both have the drive to just make content. And so we just make a bunch of content. Like we record, we would do interviews, and it just happened to be to where we put out this much. And I hope we can keep it going, 5 more years.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
And congrats to you on 5 years as well. And most shows don't last more than 2 years or less. So
yeah, it's true.
Even if you only have 300 episodes or whatever, being here for 5 years, that's a big feat.
I mean, if you think about 360 episodes, that is a year's worth. Like you can listen to an episode every single day of the year. Yeah. Yep. And I mean, it's crazy to think. And not only that, but I'm looking at your show as well as mine, how far we've come over that time and just the quality and just the direction that we've gone. I'm very impressed with everything that we've seen. I just wish more people would get eyes and ears on us because I think we're doing some pretty great things and we just need that following. Just that one little boost, I think would be really cool for both of us.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we both have quality shows. I think it shows the fact if you watch like your first episode or my first episode, you can come back. Even if you skip like the first audio one and go to like our first like video episode to our most recent one, it's worlds different going from like a shitty webcam to an actual camera that looks good and figuring out how to do lighting a little bit. I mean, I'm not obviously great at it, but learning more about lighting and audio and getting an actual really good mic and stuff, it changes everything. So you learn as you go, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's insane. Just to touch on that real quick, I'm going to be interviewing somebody here next week who I've interviewed in the past, and I went back to listen to that first interview I did with this person just to make sure I don't hit the same topics twice and everything like that. And I mean, I know it's my own product, but it was almost unbearable to listen to.
Oh yeah, some of our first interviews are like, I'm like, why did we release this? This is hard to listen. This is harsh.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah. So everybody who's listening, watching, all that jazz, thank you for joining, and we're gonna kind of get into things here. The first thing I want to talk to you about, I don't know if you've watched it at all, but the biggest hit, or one of the biggest hits of this time, I tell you what, June has been crazy when it comes to content, like absolutely nuts. But Stranger Things, the final 2 episodes, part 2 of season 4 dropped. Did you get a chance to watch those?
Yep, watched them the day they came out.
What did you think?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was so I expected it actually. I didn't realize they were doing another season 5, right? Mm-hmm. So I expected more of a closure when I got to the end of it, but I like where it closed because it closed in a spot where it wrapped some things up, and season 4 went a direction and pushed the show narrative to a way I wasn't expecting it to go, which I enjoyed. And I'm curious to see what they're going to, I think next season is the last season.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I'm curious to see how they wrap it up, how they get to tie it all together and make it to where it's finished.
Yeah. I've been pretty critical of season 4.
I know.
For some reason, I don't know. For me, it felt bloated with just unnecessary filler. And that was kind of my issue with the first, 7 episodes of it. And I figured, oh, well, they're going to cram a lot of stuff then into the final 2 episodes. Even though it's 4 hours for those final 2 episodes, I think they're going to have to cram a lot in there. So it's not going to feel like a lot of filler. But I was wrong. There was still a lot of filler in those last 2 episodes, I felt. So that was kind of, for me, that was a little disappointing. I really do enjoy this show. I've loved the first 3 seasons. I think I like the 3rd season a lot more than a lot of people do. So
I think the 3rd is the weakest.
Really? I honestly think it might be my favorite. I love that season. I've watched that one, I think that season 3 times now, more than the other ones. But I think overall for this past season, I think they played it safe. I think that they're trying to build up this big bad. And when you build up a big bad, you have to put some stakes in there. And spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but if you haven't, where have you been living? They don't kill anybody off that's really of any significance in this.
If you talk to my kids, they all think that they did. My kids are all super upset about it.
But they did the same thing they did with season 2 and 3. They introduce a character, they get you to love that character, and then they kill them off.
They went the safe route.
Exactly. It's the safe route, the same thing that they've done 2 seasons past already. So that just kind of annoyed me. Like, I think that there should have been an impactful death. I think that there should have been somebody from that core gang from the first season, not Max, not anybody that came in after the fact. Somebody from that first season who we've learned to love and just have grown with for 4 seasons should have died to really set the stakes up for that final season and really give a reason for them to be pissed off and like, we're going to go after this, this person.
Who could they have killed though? They couldn't have killed Will. They couldn't have killed 11. They couldn't have killed
Will, 11, and Mike. I think are the only safe ones.
I think Dustin's the only one they could have killed.
I think Will, 11, and Mike are the only safe ones. And then I think one of them would have to die in the final season, which I think they're going to kill off Will. But I mean, we got a year and a half. And I think that's going to be a year and a half until we get to that. Or if I'm not mistaken, I have this right here. Stranger Things season 4, part 2 broke Netflix. Roughly 13,000 users complained of issues immediately after the final 2 episodes released. Season 5, they're saying, will be released sometime in 2024. With that, the Duffer Brothers state it will be shorter than season 4 as they are shooting for a 10-hour-long season. So yeah, that's what's kind of going on there. But I think I'm going to get into speculation when we get closer to it. But I think Will is gonna die next season. I think there's going to be a really interesting aspect here, because one thing I really liked about this season is that little kind of love triangle that they created with Mike, Will, and 11, where really Will is the only one that's feeling that. Mike is all about 11, 11's all about Mike. but Will. And I think that there's going to be an instance in the final season where Mike has to make a decision on if he's going to save Will or Eleven. And Will's just going to make that decision for him and sacrifice himself to save them. I think something like that's going to happen. But,
interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. Again, I
or instead they just kill them all.
Yeah, just kill everybody.
And Vecna wins.
But I know I really did like the season. It's just I felt it was a little long. 13 hours was a long season. And
I think so. I get that it's long too, but I like the fact that it was. I think the break between the last two and it kind of made it. I wish the last two would have been broken out into like 4 episodes, because watching the last 2.5 hour long episode was kind of painful. It was long.
I think really, I wouldn't be against Netflix with certain shows, not all shows, but like this is a show I think would work a lot better on a week-to-week basis. Because of it gives you so much of that water cooler talk after every episode. And when you drop a chunk of it or the whole season at one time, it's kind of like, okay, let's go talk about it. And after 2 days, we're done with it. So I think this would be a great show to do that with. And I wouldn't be surprised if come season 5, they don't do that with it.
Has Netflix done that yet? Any show?
I don't think they've done what they did with this, where they split a season into a couple parts, but I don't think they've done a weekly release of a show yet.
It'd be interesting. I mean, this one could work that way because it does have that water cooler element to it. And that's one thing I liked about like the Disney Plus shows is you have a week to kind of like think about what happened and speculate, and then see the next one where each episode becomes its own thing. When you binge watch it, the season becomes one thing, and you don't really try to think about the episode.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the best route to go. I think Netflix needs to do that regardless with all of their shows. Don't get me wrong. I love binging shows. I love sitting down and watching them all in one sitting, although with my family and everything, I don't get the time to do that like I used to before that. But it's not even that. I just think that with the financial struggles that Netflix has seen over the past year or so, it probably would be in their interest to do that. I mean, they're going to be introducing ads by the end of this year. So yeah.
Are there ads? I didn't see that. That's crazy. That'll be crazy when it happens. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm excited. I mean, I liked it. I liked it better than 3. For me, I thought it was a good season. I really liked the metal thing. They did the Metallica Master of Puppets. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait. I mean, I'm going to have to wait 1.5 years, but yes, it is what it is. I am going to pull this up real quick. I'm going to skip over this. I only put this on here for Ken because Ken is a huge, huge fan of this show, but The Boys was once again excellent for episode 7, and we're not going to get talking too much about it. I guess, John, you haven't gotten to watch it yet.
Yeah, I'm not caught up on The Boys yet. I need to. I've been so busy with other stuff. I need to just catch up on it.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I understand, and things get busy. Things definitely get busy, but that's fine. We don't need to talk. Honestly, Ken is the one that is obsessed with that show. That's why I put it on here. So we'll just skip it.
But you're wearing the hat for it, so.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Oh, no, I love the show. Don't get me wrong. I love the show. I don't know. I don't feel like I have to talk about The Boys. I don't know why. Right. Like I enjoy the show. I love the show, but like I haven't been doing reviews of every episode like I did for Kenobi or I've done for Miss Marvel and stuff like that. I don't know why. It's nothing against the show. I love it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving on. So Zack Snyder, your boy. I know you love Zack Snyder, man. I know he's your favorite director,
all time, world's best director. Yeah, totally.
But he posted just last week. I think it was actually the day I did my last episode. He posted this. Own on digital, 7/19, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it's finally coming to digital. They are finally going to be. I mean, it's been on HBO Max. You could buy a physical copy of it, which I own. Now you can buy it digitally. They have yet to release it digitally in the United States, and that's what they're doing. But this, obviously, you should expect this to happen. It got people talking and excited that, what does this all mean?
It means it's a money grab and they're going to get money off of digital sales. That's what it means.
Exactly. That's all it means. And look, from somebody who is a diehard Snyderverse fan, I want them to continue the Snyderverse as much as anybody else, but that's not what this is. This is not them announcing that we're going to get a continuation of the Snyderverse. And honestly, I posted a video the other day. I don't see it happening anytime soon, if at all, at this
especially
point.
With what's happened with Ezra Miller. It's pretty dead.
Exactly. I mean, everything with Ezra Miller it's unlikely Warner Brothers will want to work with Ezra Miller again. And
anybody will want to work with him again.
Anybody.
Probably.
Yeah, his career is probably done. But at this point, what are they going to do? They're not going to recast. Snyder's not going to recast his Flash. So I think, if anything, we're going to see what I've said for quite some time. We're going to see a continuation of it, but it's going to be in graphic novel or animated form. That's what I think is going to happen. And I know people don't want to hear that, but look, I've always said, temper your expectations, stay excited, stay passionate, but temper your expectations.
It's better than nothing.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. It's better than being dead forever. If they do it in graphic novel, I think do it in graphic novel form. That'd be great. And then, or animated movies if they want to do it that way. But the cheaper option is going to be graphic novels for Warner Brothers to keep making money off of it and make content.
Exactly. I don't know. People just they see they see a centimeter and they take an inch. They see an inch, they take a foot. You know, it's just they keep trying to grab, and it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just worn out from it. I mean,
it's tiring.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 3-4 years, it's been nonstop, and maybe that's what it is. I love the Snyderverse. I want them to continue it, but I just know it's not really gonna be. But that leads me to my next thing, which is really, really interesting. So last week I went on a bit of a rant. I lost my shit last week, actually. I don't know if you happen to catch that video. I actually pulled it out and made it its own video even, because I freaked out. There's a rumor going around that there's going to be a cameo from Superman and Black Adam. But the rumor is that it is going to be a headless, faceless Superman yet again.
So stupid.
And
so dumb.
I lost my shit. Like, get your act together, Warner Brothers. It's either going to be Cavill or it's not. If it's not, give us somebody new. If it's Cavill, give us Cavill. I don't I want Cavill to be it, but just you're taking the most recognizable superhero in all of pulp culture and not giving us to, like, you're giving him to us, but you're not. It's
I mean, you're giving us a costume. You're not giving us him. Yeah. And it's like, they did it in Shazam. Like, I understand why it happened in Shazam. I wish they would have shown the shown Cavill there, but it's like, don't do it again, because that was met with pretty big backlash.
But if you think about it, like in Shazam, it kind of worked.
It did work. It worked for that movie. It won't work for Black Adam.
But then you think about this. Then they did it again in Peacemaker. Peacemaker. It was just a shadowy figure, that had no face. And then they're going to, so a third time, that'll be 3 times that they're doing this.
Knock it off, Warner Brothers.
Exactly. Well,
they don't know what they're doing anyway, so.
There's a little hope. Dwayne Johnson hints, I'm terrible at spelling, it looks like. Dwayne Johnson hints Cavill Superman in his Black Adam movie. So what this says, let me pull up the tweet here, because can read it better if I have it. All right. Too many buttons. There we go. Maybe you can't read it at all. I don't know.
That's fine. I can read it.
Okay.
I can see just fine.
So there is Luke Bug, the Geeks of Steel, posted, "Heroes, I can't wait for this movie. I don't care if there are no cameos in it, but if there are," and they posted the chest of Superman with the S and the chest of Black Adam with the lightning bolt and kind of pushed together combined. Well, Dwayne Johnson, who didn't have to, but he went out of his way and actually commented and retweeted with a quote saying, "From back in the day when I was wrestling in flea markets for $40 a match, all the way to now, I've learned to always listen to the audience." That's not a really good Dwayne Johnson voice. I should do better. I can't do it. Anyway.
Don't try.
I've learned to always listen to the audience, because they will always lead you to where you need to go. I hear you, and I will always got you. Or I will always, I can't even read. I always got you. And with a little punchy emoji with a winky face. So is he hinting at Cavill going to be in Black Adam, or is he hinting that Superman's going to be in Black Adam? Is he hinting that there's something else coming up? What do you think this is insinuating here?
So from day one, when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has talked about doing Black Adam, he has said he wants to face off against Superman. Yes. Like from day one, he has said he always wants to be a character that faces off against Superman. So I think one of his, because this is a passion project for him, right? This is his passion. He's been working on this for a decade almost.
Yeah,
I think it's a matter of I think we're going to see his Black Adam go against Superman, whether it's in this movie or in the sequel. It's gonna happen. I think that's part of what his agreement with Warner Bros. Is. Hey, this is what I want to do. And if this movie, I don't think it's going to be in this movie. I think you might get a cameo, right? But I think Superman might be in the next one where they actually face off and fight, and it becomes a bigger thing.
Yeah, I really hope that. Look, I was told by someone, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I don't know, that they were working on getting Cavill in this, Shazam, and The Flash. They were trying to get him in all three of them. Maybe that this means it didn't happen. I don't know, or maybe it did happen, or maybe they heard the fan outcry from the other day, and Dwayne Johnson called up everybody and said, you know what, we're getting this fixed right now. Call up Cavill. We're going to do a real quick shoot, just me and him, and on green screen, and we're getting this done. I mean, it's possible. The movie's still 4 months away, so they could easily do a quick 2-minute shoot, 3-minute shoot on green screen and get it out there. But
I mean, it'd make a great after credit scene teasing the next movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's all it was supposed to be to begin with, was just a little tease. And I mean, that's what the rumor said. The rumor was, I don't know if you care, but it had Amanda Waller in it as well. And it was her talking about this being Black Adam that they need to hunt down and stop. And she's talking to Superman, and the camera pans over and we just see his chest, and that was it. So,
yeah. I mean, that's a shit cameo, but like, give us a real, like, full-on thing. Don't just do that shit again.
Exactly. We need something good. Come on. Who doesn't want to see Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate next to Henry Cavill? So how badass would that be?
That'd be awesome.
Come on. We all want to see that. Make it happen. Warner Brothers, stop being douchebags and make it happen.
Yeah, you got the money. Just do it.
Yeah. Do they have the money? I mean, they really screwed up with that direct to HBO Max thing last year. I don't think they have the money right now.
I may screw up a lot of stuff, but who knows?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. All right, so let's move on to the main topic. Should there be a Darth Vader spinoff? Will it work? All that jazz. But before we do that, let me get your opinion. I know that you guys did an Obi-Wan Kenobi episode. I don't think you guys dropped it yet, though. Did you? I don't think I saw it.
I think no, it came out last Friday.
Did it? Okay, maybe I missed it. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Kenobi series? What did you think of what Star Wars is doing right now?
I like the Kenobi series. I thought it was well done. I mean, but I'm also a big Ewan McGregor fan as Kenobi. I liked him a lot. I saw your take on it on TikTok and stuff in your episodes, and I don't know. I think for me, being a casual Star Wars fan, right? Like, I've seen all the movies. I haven't seen Solo. It's the only movie I haven't seen. I've seen most of. I haven't finished Mandalorian, but I've seen the first season and part of season 2, and I'm watching it all. I've seen a smattering of the cartoons that have come out. I've read comic books for it. I've watched that. And I would say that I'm a casual, maybe a little more than casual fan of Star Wars, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked the story of him giving a reason why Leia and Obi-Wan have this connection that's talked about that's there in A New Hope. I liked seeing Vader. I thought Hayden Christensen was great coming back and doing what he did. I would be interested to see more, but I think if this is a one and done season, I think it was well done. If they want to do another season, I'm curious what story they're going to tell for another season, because he spent so much time alone in the desert. But we'll see. Overall I enjoyed it, but I'm not like deep rooted in the Star Wars lore like some people are, And I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed the fight scene at the end between the two of them.
Yeah. I mean, I went into detail on the show what my feelings were on it, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I just felt that it should have been better. I felt that it should have been more in tune with those fans, with those people who grew up with Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, and everything like that. I think that they should have focused on pleasing those fans and not just everybody. Because I think if they would have focused on pleasing those fans, everybody would have been pleased just the same. So I'm not too worried about, I don't care what the casual fan thinks with this. This is my shit. I want to be happy, damn it. But
hey, that's me you're talking about right there.
But no, overall, it wasn't a terrible show. And honestly, I with the exception of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, what Lucasfilm has done with Star Wars, I think pretty much all of it has been above par. I mean, it's been great to a certain degree. So, it is what it is. Like, again, not everything is for everybody. It really isn't. But I would have liked that to be more for me. But yeah, it is what it is. What can you do?
Next time.
The big breakout star of this, which was kind of surprising, I guess, was Darth Vader's portrayal by Hayden Christensen, as well as some stuntmen and stand-ins. But everybody loved the way that Darth Vader was portrayed in this show, just how menacing and ruthless he was. And that got people talking yet again, because it's something that everybody's been saying for years, is they want to see a Darth Vader spinoff, a story about Darth Vader, even though episodes 1 through 6 are all about Vader. But people want to see a Darth Vader spinoff. And what do you think about that? Do you think that that's something that is, one, viable? Is it going to make money? Will it be successful for Star Wars and Lucasfilm? And 2, how would they do it? How could they do a spinoff about Vader?
Look, I think you could do a Darth Vader TV show of him doing a dance-off with various Star Wars characters and it would make money, okay? It's Darth Vader. I think you could do a Darth Vader cooking show and it would work. So I think it's not a matter of it making money and working. I think it's a matter of doing it right for the fans. And I think, for me, what made Vader work so well wasn't the fact that he was menacing and just brutal in this show. It was that mixed with the fact that you really felt the emotion of him. In what little they showed of him, and even just when they have, like, when Obi-Wan breaks his mask open and you see his face underneath, you can see he is a torn man between who taught him and his current master of the dark side, of where he's going to end up. And I felt like they did a really good job of laying the ground of him being emotionally screwed all the way through to when he has to turn back, with Luke in the end. And I think that's more what people want to see, is he's fighting himself. And he's fighting the dark side constantly, even though he doesn't realize he's doing it. And I think it was very subtle in this show. And that's what excites me about them doing a Darth Vader show, is more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on it. I think if you put Darth Vader at the forefront, it's going to be successful for that reason right there. I mean, there's a reason why people consider him the greatest villain in movie history, because of just who he is and his story that we've seen so far. It's all been fantastic. But my worry is exactly what you're saying, is just the execution and making it for the fans and making it so the fans do enjoy it. And that is my worry, because my prime example is the Book of Boba Fett. I don't know if you watch that show at all.
I have not watched that one, no.
But they neutered my boy Boba Fett. They really did. And even Tamora Morrison, who played Boba Fett in the show, has come out since, and he goes, I want to get back to the badass Boba Fett. If we do another show, that's what he wants, or another season, that's what he wants. He wants to be the badass Boba Fett again. They really just made him this overly sympathetic anti-hero type of character. And for some reason, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why these companies are constantly pushing villains and bad guys to be anti-heroes nonstop. It's baffling to me. Sony's the big culprit right now. They're the big ones right now with it. But I don't want them to do that to Vader. I don't want them. Nope. I don't want, like, if you're going to do a Darth Vader show, it's going to be a dark show. It's going to be about Vader falling further and further into the dark side. It's not going to be a happy-go-lucky story. It's going to be dark and dreary, and that's what it needs to be. And I just don't know if this iteration of Lucasfilm has the balls to do that.
So here's the problem with what the show, what's going to happen in the show, no matter what, right? Think about Darth Vader throughout all of the movies. Okay. He is not the main character.
No.
His story is built in the background, and it's worked because it's been built in the mystery and in the background. And same thing with Boba Fett. If you take a character that's built in the background and done well, and then try to make something all about that character, you can only do it one of two ways: successful or screw it up.
Yeah.
And the success is incredibly hard to do because especially using Darth Vader, a character who's been in pop culture for over 40 years, 45 years, right? 45 years of this bad guy who is considered one of the greatest of all times, who has grown in as a secondary character in movies and TV shows and books. And there's comics about him and stuff. That it was great. But I'm talking this like in cinema, he's always been a secondary character, right? In every movie. And that's how his story's been built, you know, and that's done really well because you're telling the tale of Darth Vader through the tale of other people. And that's worked. When he becomes the forefront, it's going to be really hard to make that not look either one, cheesy, or two, just nerfed and destroyed. And that's what I worry about. Do I want to see more of him and see more of this turmoil? Yes. But they got to be super careful about how they execute that. Otherwise, it's not going to come out well. Yeah. It's going to come out it's going to come out laughable, right? And it might actually be better for them to not make that show, but to keep Hayden Christensen around as Darth Vader and have his story be told in other shows in the background of him being the bad guy or a tertiary bad guy, where you see this build up in more other shows, and kind of keep this thing where Darth Vader is this big bad guy that's always told in the background. We don't need to see the foreground stuff, you know?
What if they did something like this to change it up a little bit? Now, I don't know if it would be profitable, if it would be worth them even doing something like this, but to do like a 30, 45 minute short of sorts with Vader to kind of give a quick story and just do that every once in a while. Like, you don't need to do it constantly. The one story that I've been saying that I would love to see, because I personally want to see Palpatine pushing Vader. Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see Palpatine pushing him, because he knows the further he falls to the dark side, the better for him. And that's what I kind of want to see. And I would love to see if like something maybe, 3-4 years, whether it's right before the Obi-Wan series or right after or something, where Palpatine notices that Vader is he's kind of, not all the way there yet. And Palpatine goes and gets another apprentice. And whether it's Palpatine's goal to truly replace Vader, or if this apprentice is to push Vader, that's to be seen. That's Palpatine, he's the manipulative kind of person. But for Vader to then find out about this apprentice and for him to confront this apprentice, I think that would be a cool story to tell, because you would have that conflict within Vader being, this is my out. I can get out of this way. Like I can be free and go back to my old ways. But is he too attached to the dark? Is he falling too far? And I think it would be a really cool story. And I think that's not something that you would need 6 to 10 episodes to tell. I think that could be a short 45-minute long story that you could tell. And if you get filmmakers, if you get storytellers that have a really cool story that can be executed quickly, why the hell not do it? And I'm not just saying with Vader, you can do it with any character from Star Wars, really.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, little filler fill-ins of characters would be great. Yeah. I mean, and I think they do well because fans eat that up.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be really cool and be something different, and it would give them more content on Disney Plus as well. And with the volume, with that new setup they have with the volume and the stagecraft technology, they could easily, I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive. I mean, I'm sure there's a cost to it, but you're not talking about, what is it? What would you say? 3 to 6 months of filming. Like, this would probably be 3 to 4 weeks of filming. If you get everything in order, you get the actors you need and get it done. So I think it could be a cool idea, but I don't know. Do you think with the reception that there was, do you think Lucasfilm is going to move forward with a spinoff?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such Disney, who owns Lucasfilm, is very susceptible to, oh, hey, that's going to make me money. I'm going to do that thing that's going to make me money.
Yeah.
That's why we got Boba. That's why we got the Boba Fett show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real shame because I do worry. I really do worry because I feel like they can mess up. Now, if they brought Dave Filoni on, Dave Filoni, the creator of Clone Wars, Rebels, co-creator and showrunner, or not showrunner, but producer of The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and everything. If they brought him in, or even brought in Jon Favreau as well, I would be more excited. But those two weren't involved with Kenobi. Filoni did come in and kind of shadow helped Kenobi a little bit towards the end, get it pushed over the finish line, and gave his input. But that is my worry. If those two, with the exception of the Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian has been fantastic. The first 2 seasons have been great. They know how to tell a compelling story, and Filoni's been doing it for 20 years now. I would like to see maybe them take over more of the television side of things. I know they're busy working on Ahsoka right now, and I think they got 1 or 2 other shows coming up. But again, my worry is just that they screw it up. I don't want them to ruin Vader. Like you can't ruin him. You just can't do it. They can't. I don't want them to.
Look, they can't do worse than the holiday special. All right.
Oh no, they probably could. They could. Did you watch The Rise of Skywalker?
I did. And we have very different reactions to that movie. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it like you did.
Well, no, see, I came out of it loving it. See, that was the movie that made me realize that I need to allow film to sit for a little bit. I can't come out and just be like, it's amazing. Woo, it's great. Because when I go back and watch it again or truly start to think about it, that's when I realize, oh, wow, this movie's shit. So then I look like a fool going back on what I said.
It's like if you listen to Kenrick's, Robert Hoyas, and my instant review of the Venom movie, because we recorded a review of it after we walked out of the theater on my little handy Zoom 8 or Zoom 6, H6. And we did a quick review of it right there. And we're like, oh no, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. But now I watched it again. I'll put it again. I'm like, no, this movie's complete shit.
Thank you.
It's complete shit.
It is. No,
we're not very little redeeming qualities. But yeah, same concept. I'm not trying to go on a tangent about Venom. Just same concept.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's crazy. It's just, and that's what I worry about some of this Star Wars stuff. And I am actually going to be releasing a video here in a couple days where I talk about the Marvel side of things and how, I don't know if you've realized this, but over the last 18 months, we've gotten 12 Marvel projects released. 12. Okay. We have. In the next 18 months, there's 11 more being released in the next 18 months. So in
MCU projects?
MCU projects. In 3 years, we will have 23 projects released. It took them 10 or 11 years to get 24 projects out prior to this.
What have I missed?
Here, I got the list here. Let me pull it up. I can tell you right now because I just recorded this a little bit ago.
Yeah, I want to see if I've missed anything because I see a lot.
WandaVision.
Okay, I watched that.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I watched that.
Loki.
Watch that.
Hawkeye.
Watch that.
Black Widow.
Watch that.
Shang-Chi.
Watch that.
Spider-Man.
Watch that.
Miss Marvel.
Haven't watched that yet.
Moon Knight.
Watch that.
Eternals.
I watched that.
What If.
Haven't watched that.
And technically Thor Love and Thunder is out. It's out in other countries right now, so I counted that.
And that's all in the last 18 months?
That's the last 18 months.
So I can forgive that a little bit because a lot of stuff was moved from the pandemic, but there's more coming out in the next year too.
The next 18 months, we got 11 more projects coming out. I don't have that list in front of me right now, but I talked about it a few episodes ago with Ken. We pulled out and we started talking about what's coming in the next year and a half. And now we got Comic-Con coming up here in a few days, and I completely went off topic here, but Comic-Con is coming up in a couple weeks here. They may adjust some of these release dates now. That's a very good possibility. Things may get pushed out further, but regardless, you got to figure that we're going to get at least 6 or 7 projects next year. It looks like they're they're releasing 6 projects a year.
All right, that's not terrible. It's mixed between movies and shows if they're done right, but
my problem, and this is how I'm going to bring it back to what we're talking about with Vader and Star Wars, is quality over quantity. when you start doing so many different shows and projects and movies, those creative forces that were, take Kevin Feige, for instance, with Marvel, he was so attached to everything from Iron Man all the way up to Endgame that you can tell, like, these are well thought out films. Even the bad ones were well thought out, and they worked really well. In my opinion, since then they've kind of started to fall off a little bit, the shows and everything like that, because I think he's getting spread too thin. I think he and everybody at the studio are getting spread too thin with all of these things. And that's what I'm worried about when it comes to Star Wars. Because we don't have anybody, with the exception of Filoni, there's no one at Star Wars who is the George Lucas type. Dave Filoni is the closest thing we got to that. And
yeah, there's no big showrunner.
No big showrunner. And you're going to have too many cooks in the kitchen, all being spread too thin. And that's when you get subpar content. And that's really what I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's a real fear too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy to think that many Marvel projects have come out, isn't it? That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like Moon Knight. Like Moon Knight doesn't really tie into the. I mean, it's in the MCU, but it doesn't tie into anything.
Not yet.
Not yet. But the show came out, and there's not. I mean, maybe I missed it, but there's not really any. There's no big ties to anything else that came out. So
no, but
we'll see where they go.
Yeah, I mean, we'll transition away a little bit from Star Wars, talking about Marvel if you want. That's fine. You got the Werewolf by Night special that's supposed to be coming out, or it's a Halloween Marvel special that's going to have Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Blade. We got Black Knight. Was it Black Knight? Is that his name? Black Knight? Yeah.
Black Knight.
Black Knight. The guy from Game of Thrones that was in the Eternals. Is that his name?
Black Knight?
Has the sword. Dang,
yeah. Probably, yeah, Black Knight. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So, I mean, they're all going to be kind of connected, I think, with Moon Knight and everything. I think those are going to be, because it's going to be more the supernatural side of things. And if you really think about it, Khonshu is technically, if I'm not mistaken in the comics, I think this is right, Khonshu is the brother of one of the Black Panther gods that we saw in Black Panther, if I'm not mistaken. I think in the comics at least, but who knows? that it's all confusing. You might know better. I don't know. I wasn't a big Black Panther reader.
I don't know.
Moon Knight.
I'm looking it up right now. I don't know.
But no, so there's some connective tissue there for sure to the overall universe. It's just going to be interesting to see how they, again, the supernatural side of the MCU is what I've been really looking forward to for quite some time. And it's taking so long to get there. I really thought Moon Knight was going to just dive in and just give us a whole bunch of the supernatural, and it just didn't give us that. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What I wanted.
I mean, I think they dove in enough for a first try into it. I mean, I don't know. I think they could dive in fully in the MCU now and it'd be fine because it's the MCU and the MCU has a lot of forgiveness, but I think doing it a little bit safe is probably the better way to go overall for more fan retention.
Khonshu and Bast are half siblings. So who's Bast? Bast is the Panther god or something like that.
Interesting.
Bast, Black Panther.
Googling on the show. Always good to find out when you find out live.
Hey man, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Bast is an ancient Egyptian goddess represented as a black cat. Yeah. So, and it's a big part of Black Panther. So yeah, there is some connective tissue there. They just didn't really explain it at all.
Yeah, it's underlying, which is fine. Fine.
It's all right. But anyways, I don't remember. I lost my train of thought.
Supernatural dive in, Halloween special, Black Knight, Werewolf by Night.
Oh yeah. So I'm excited about what they're doing with all that. But then you also have the what's going on with the Eternal stuff, because that's like otherworldly. That's your galaxy universe weird stuff going on there that doesn't really have any connection to the supernatural. At least I mean I wasn't a big Eternals or Celestials reader. I don't know if you read any of that stuff.
I mean, let's be fair, the Eternals comics is not Jack Kirby's best work.
I mean, it was
It's
just him
not.
trying to copy New Gods. So
Exactly.
like that's all. When Marvel was like, "Hey, we like that. Do it here."
Pretty much, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's so it's really interesting what they're doing with Marvel and Kevin Feige. Let me get your opinion here. What do you think they're going to be doing with Marvel? Where do you think they're headed right now?
I mean, we talked about this a little bit on Spoiler Country. One of the episodes, I don't think it's released yet, but one of the episodes we've just recorded. But it feels like they're going. So they introduced Kang, right? King the Conqueror.
Kang. The problem is Kang in the comics wasn't ever like an ultimate villain type of thing. Like he was there, but there was even times when he was an Avenger. So it's like he's not that.
Well, it's because there's Kang. So Kang is a lot like Brainiac in a way, right? Because Kang traverses time. Brainiac, there's Brainiac 5, who's a good guy on the Legionnaires, and there's Brainiac who's a bad guy. But Brainiac definitely, or not Brainiac, sorry, Kang definitely is a bad guy. There's definitely been multiple stories where he is the big bad guy. And I think what they're doing is they're using Kang and they're going to bring in other characters. Like he's going to be the background character for a while, I think. Because if they brought this whole concept of time travel and things getting messed up and this ultimate end and this shit with Kang, and I think they're going to bring in the Fantastic Four through Kang in some way. And I think that I don't think Kang is going to be the ultimate bad guy in the next whole phase, but I think he's going to be the ultimate lead up to this bad guy that we're going to find out.
I think he's more of a Loki level. He's not a Thanos level. He's a Loki level bad guy. And I can buy that. I can buy because Loki was that villain in Thor. Then he became the Avengers villain. And I think Kang's going to be a villain, like a villain for Loki, which is ironic. And then, he'll become an Avengers. Yeah. He'll then become an Avengers villain for a film or series or something. I just don't see that's the problem right now. I think we're all looking at this. Who's the big bad? Who's the one that's going to be the main villain? And maybe they just don't go that route. Maybe for this next, saga, it's just going to be a multiversal saga where it's just a bunch of random shit going on. And
that'd be great. That'd be great to subvert expectations and not have a giant big bad. Just make the big bad be the multiverse and time travel. That's the big bad. They have to solve this problem of things just getting screwed up from people messing with time and the multiverse stuff.
Yeah. Have you been watching Miss Marvel?
I have not. So I'm waiting. My daughters want to watch it with me, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it with me yet.
No. Oh man, you're going to love it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. I can't believe how much I love this show. I really can. And if I love it that much, it's a guarantee you're going to enjoy it as well.
I guarantee I'll like it.
And when it comes down to it, in just a very minimal spoiler, they do introduce multi-dimensional ideas in this show. So if you really think about it, with Doctor Strange, we got the multiverse. Miss Marvel introducing the idea of multi-dimensions. We have multiple dimensions in Shang-Chi.
And Spider-Man.
And in Spider-Man. They're really pushing this whole multi-dimension universe Loki idea.
Loki too, yeah.
So, and then we have a TV show coming out called Secret Invasion, which was a build-up to another comic, Secret Wars. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I was always a bigger DC comic fan, so I could be wrong here. There was 2 Secret Wars. There was a Secret Wars that was based off of Secret Invasion, the Skrulls, and everything like that. And then there was a Secret War there. But then there was another Secret War that was the multiverse type of thing, right?
Yeah. There was Secret Wars in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we got Black Heist and Spider-Man to begin with.
Yes.
There was Secret Wars 2, which is where we got the Beyonder, right? Okay. Or I think it was Beyonder. Somebody, and I can't remember. I think it was a Beyonder, some other guy. Secret Wars 2 in the late 80s, which was trying to capitalize on the success of Secret Wars 1, right? Then there was the Secret Invasion, which led to the Secret Wars more recently. And the movies are more likely going to be doing the more recent Secret Wars one. It comes after Secret Invasion, right? That's what they're going to work on, which involves multiversal stuff, which involves like multiple instances of the same character fighting in this giant secret galactic war or whatever. That's probably where they're going to go with this, because that makes the most sense, because they're building up to that. Because like this whole last like 2 years, they've built up two big things, right? But outside of time travel, they built up multiversal stuff and multidimensional stuff, and they built up the Young Avengers, right? Mm-hmm. We've been introduced to all of the Young Avengers pretty much except for Hulkling at this point. We've met them all, right? Hulkling's the last one we haven't met that I can think of off the top of my head. And I wouldn't be surprised if we meet him soon in a show or a movie coming up, because they've done everybody else, so why not him? You know,
I know nothing of Hulkling. Like, I don't know his origin at all.
I don't really know it either. I just know he's. I don't know much. I don't know much about Young Avengers. I just know the character names, because as I kept seeing characters pop up in movies and shows, I'm like, I recognize that name. Oh, Young Avenger. Oh, Young Avenger. Oh, Young Avenger. You know, like they introduced, one in WandaVision, they introduced one in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they introduced one in Loki, they introduced one in Doctor Strange. You know, they keep introducing more and more everywhere you go. Actually, there's two in WandaVision.
Yeah.
But and we might get Hulkling in the She-Hulk show. You know, I don't know. But
it's all been on TV too, right?
Well, except for Doctor Strange, because America Chavez.
Yeah, America Chavez is but besides her, all of the other ones have been on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Well, no, because I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe that no, maybe not. I was thinking that the White Widow, who becomes Black Widow, was a Young Avenger too, but she might not have been. I don't think so.
No, she's not going to be a young Avenger. Or I hope they go with the champion name. I hope they go Champions there. I do. I'd like to see the shift from Avengers to Champions for them, but that's just me.
Well, I mean Hercules.
Well, okay, but not saying that's not possible. I mean, if anybody has seen the trailer for the upcoming Thor movie.
I have not seen the trailer, so I'm purposely not watching it.
Okay, then I won't say any more of that. But no, I agree. I mean, you can finish your thought, but yeah, I see what they're doing. They got the Young Avengers aspect, these young heroes coming into the mix, but they also have the multidimensional thing. So what are you thinking is going to happen from that?
I think they're using it as a changing of the guard for the big characters. I think they're using it to introduce all these younger characters, whether they be the Young Avengers, whether they have a different name or whatever. I think they're using it as a way to transition these characters, that these actors and characters who have been doing this for years, to newer versions of these characters or newer instances of something to take over the mantle, to keep this whole universe going with new characters in the same world, right? Because they're not going to. We have Tony Stark's gone, Captain America's gone, Thor's going to be out pretty soon. All these big characters are going to be gone out of the MCU, and they're using this to slowly introduce. They're feeding the seeds for new characters to see how they fit in the universe for the future and for future teams. And obviously, they want to use Young Avengers because Avengers was such a hit. They're going to try and capitalize on that same thing with these new characters. Now, whether it works or not, I don't know yet, because we've yet to realize any of these characters to be actual characters, if they've just been cameos. Besides America Chavez, right, in Doctor Strange 2. All of and Kate Bishop too, as well. Besides those two, everybody else has just been a cameo name drop, right? We got Wiccan and Speed in WandaVision. We saw them as kids doing some stuff. We saw the new Falcon in Falcon Winter Soldier, Lieutenant Torres, and we saw him. He got the suit at the end, and they didn't show anything there. We don't know anything about these characters besides Kate Bishop and America Chavez. We know about them. So and they both had I think they both had a relatively good reaction, which is good. But the other three, we've seen them, we don't know anything about them yet.
Kamala Khan. The most we've gotten is Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop at this point.
Well, Kamala Khan is also on there, but I haven't watched.
But see, my problem with it, and I agree that we're going to see some changing of the guard for some of these characters.
Yeah,
I honestly don't think that they should or can continue the Avengers moniker moving forward. I think they need to, and this isn't me saying, I want the Champions thing. I think that it's going to be slightly different. Yeah, we're going to see them team up at some point, sure. But I don't think they're going to be a team like the Avengers where, they hang out and party and, talk about what they've done and try and lift Thor's hammer and all that kind of. I don't think they're going to be like that. I think it's going to be kind of like, oh shit, something's going on. Oh, who are you? Oh, who are you? Hey, we're fighting together. Great. And then they leave. I think that's what's going to happen for most of these characters, because you're saying Captain America's gone. Well, technically not really, because Sam is now Captain America. We got Captain.
Well, I meant Steve. I meant Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers. Yeah,
I meant Steve Rogers.
But we still have Bucky, the Winter Soldier, which is now, what's he probably going to go as? White Wolf now. He's probably going to go as
probably White Wolf. Yeah.
What else? I mean, we still have Doctor Strange, and Wong, who technically weren't Avengers, but they're still a big part of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch, is she going to be good again?
I mean, she's kind of at that point of almost no redemption, but we'll see.
So, I mean, honestly, when you get down to it, the changing of the guard, I think, is going to happen to a certain extent. I can't envision what Feige and them are doing with these characters right now. Back in 2009, when Nick Fury came, turned around in Tony Stark's, penthouse and was like, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." We're like, "Oh shit.
Oh, what the heck?
We know where this is going."
Yeah.
But right now, we have no idea. We don't know what the end game is with these characters. And that's kind of exciting to a point. Don't get me wrong. I want to know what's coming, but I it's a little more exciting not knowing, because
I like not knowing. That's precisely why I stopped watching trailers. I like not knowing. I like being surprised. And I think now that I think about it, I think this could be one of two things, right? Maybe it's not a changing of the guard. Maybe they're building a team of younger characters to tell stories for those younger characters, but they're still going to have Avengers or larger threats. It's just another team to do more stuff, or another set of characters to do, to fight. Maybe not a Thanos level threat, but like a smaller threat, right? They're just another team that does stuff in this world with the larger Avengers team, and maybe they team up and join the Avengers for a fight, and then they go back into their own thing, stuff like that.
Yeah,
maybe it's not, because you're right. There's a lot of characters left, and there's other characters that are not teenage characters they could bring into the main Avengers, right? Very easily if they wanted to, or because there's still, we know we're going to get Fantastic Four, we know we're going to get X-Men at some point. So there's a lot more teams in this world to do more stuff. So maybe it's not a changing of the guard. Maybe it's just they're introducing. That's like their first foray into a younger set of characters for maybe a younger audience or whatever, that they're just going to fill in the void, or fill into this world of X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, other teams as champions as well, for maybe some bigger fight down the road where all these teams have to go up and either fight each other or fight together.
Yeah,
and it's just something we can't picture yet, because we just don't know where they're going with it.
Bring in the Defenders again and do them better,
do them right.
Have the Avengers, have the X-Men, have the Fantastic Four. Dude, imagine all those teams coming on screen at one time.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Like, it would just be ridiculous. Oh man, I all I can say, look, while I have not really enjoyed a lot of what we've gotten from Marvel to this point over the last 18 months, I love Shang-Chi. I still think Shang-Chi is a top 3 Marvel movie for me. But
Shang-Chi's great.
When it comes down to it, it's just fell flat for me. But I'm excited about the possibilities, because I just don't know.
Yeah,
we can't, at this point in time, we can't look at the comics and say, oh, well, they're headed in this direction. We have some inkling that, they're probably going to do Secret War, because it just makes sense with all the multiverse stuff. But when it comes down to it, it's like, how are they going to get there? And what kind of Secret War is it going to be?
Right.
So are we going to see other versions of these heroes that we've grown to love? Is this what's going to pull Robert Downey Jr. back into the MCU as an alternate version Iron Man who's trying to kill our heroes now?
Or finally bring in Tom Cruise as Iron Man, for that was teased, or maybe bring in Nick Hammond as Spider-Man.
Yes, I know you want that so bad.
I do. And it'd be awesome to have old man Spider-Man show up. Okay,
you really should have just had him as, like, even not as a Spider-Man, but as just some kind of cameo in No Way Home. There
should have been a cameo from Nick Hammond. I mean, if there really should have. I'm sad that there wasn't.
Yeah, I know my brother would have been excited. That was my brother's jam when he was a kid. Was that version of Spider-Man?
Look, I'm not saying that version of Spider-Man is any good. I'm just saying they should have paid homage to it, because it paved the way. It was the first one.
Exactly. They definitely should have. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I think they should have even gotten a lot of the voices from the Spider-Man cartoons and had them in there in some form or fashion as well. Then you're talking about it getting a little over bloated, but I mean, you could have, they could have had the guy that did the the voice of Spider-Man in the 90s, just
Yeah,
like an officer somewhere, like, you know, something like that. But
easily.
but that's it. I think this is a good show. I think we're good.
I think so. Yeah, thanks for having me today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. With all that said, you know, make sure you all subscribe, like, all that jazz, and follow. Go to spoilerverse.com and find that gentleman there and his show. You can find a whole bunch of other shows as well. But with all that said, everyone, I'll talk to all of you later.